What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a video on a recent acquisition of a carded Luke Bespin. Before I start the video, I want to defer to the two experts within my friends group. The first is That One Time. Justin has a fantastic channel, and he deserves way more subscribers than he currently has. He is one of two Luke Bespin experts. He is a focused Luke Bespin collector, and he has an incredible collection of Luke Bespins as well as vintage Star Wars in general. I highly recommend you check out his channel. He offers very insightful and thoughtful commentary, and I really enjoy his videos. So make sure to check out That One Time on YouTube. The second, it goes without saying, it has to be Yorkie Bespin. Tony is also an expert on the Luke Bespin figure, and his channel is growing leaps and bounds. I highly recommend you check out Yorkie Bespin. These two guys are the experts on the Luke Skywalker Bespin Fatigues figure. I am not, but I'm going to show you what I have within my collection, as well as dive into some other interesting details about the figure. So, buckle up. So here is my new acquisition. This is the 41 back A Luke with the blonde hair. I believe he also came with the brown hair on this one. Again, for anything Luke Bespin related, make sure to check out That One Time and Yorkie Bespin. But I was really excited to get this. I also want to make sure to say thank you to my buddy Chris W., who appeared in my live stream a couple of weeks ago. Chris helped me acquire this one from Germany. It arrived safe and sound from Germany to New York, and from New York to Tennessee, where I live. And it's an awful nice one here, and I'm just really excited to finally get a mint-on card Luke. I've been putting it off and putting it off. I've bid on a couple over the last year or so and just lost out on a few, but this one is definitely a good one to start with. It's got the survival kit offer, and here we are. Star Wars action figure survival kit, and I'll show you the back in a second, but this is a really nice example. It's got an unpunched tab there. You can see a little bit of hangwear right above that, but really nice. The other things I'll note are, which is common for these Lukes, is that the torso has discolored a little bit. So it's a slightly kind of off brown versus the limbs. So that's why the figure score is a little bit lower. And it's got the DL44 blaster that's come loose from the tape. The saber's still attached. Here is the score on it. If I can get it to focus. 41 back A. The card and the blister got an 80 and 85 respectively, and then the figure score got a 75. So probably would have been an 80 if not for the discoloration, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I've got plenty of loose examples, which I'll show you a little bit later. But this is just a beautiful item. Very, very happy to have it. Here's the back of the card. It's got Collect All 41. And there is the survival kit information there. It's got Luke with his AT-AT grappling hook and belt, the Jedi training harness, 2 Hoth backpacks, 3 asteroid gas masks, and some assorted weapons. I have the survival kit at Collector Archive Services right now. I sent in a sealed mail-away box that is being graded, so we'll get that back. I would think we'll probably get that back within the next week or excuse me, month, not week. But that'll be nice to see. But I like how R2 is kind of up there in the corner. But really, really nice example. And let's see if I can find the factory code on this one. I always forget where they are on the ESB cards. I don't see the factory code. Sometimes they have the Smile Factory or the Unitoy Factory. Sometimes they're on the bottom of the footer there. There's nothing on the bottom of this footer, but sometimes you'll see a U or an S stamp on the bottom of the footer to signify the Unitoys or Smile Factory. There's also the Cater Factory. But a really nice example, and very, very happy to have it. I'm gonna break here. I'm gonna break here, and we're gonna dig into a little bit of the history of the Luke Bespin figure, some of the different card backs, the photo variations, and things like that. So let's break here, and I will be right back. Luke Bespin was the 28th figure released in the vintage Kenner line in 1980. Luke made his debut on the 31B card back, as you see on the left, and his final appearance was on the Return of the Jedi 77 back B. Luke is actually one of only 2 figures to have their card art changed within the same film line of figures, along with Leia Bespin. The 31B walking photo on the left was quickly changed to the photo with his gun drawn on the 32B that you see on the right. One interesting side note revolves around the 41 back Kenner Canada card. For some unknown reason, the photo was changed back to the walking photo. The made in Mexico and very rare Lily Letty Luke Bespin also has a slightly different photo. This example that you see here is from the Collector Archive Services website. The Luke Bespin photo has been enlarged so you can barely see his weapon, and the background of the photo is much more screen accurate. It gets rid of the sky baby blue background and changes it back to the kind of white background that we all saw in the Bespin scenes. One final note before we take a closer look at my loose graded Luke Bespin variants is the Palatoy Tri-Logo Luke Bespin. A common occurrence with the Tri-Logos is that the photo art is different from the Kenner cardbacks, and Luke Bespin is certainly no exception. The photo has been reversed, so he appears to be drawing the weapon with his other hand. The sky baby blue background has the more screen accurate white Bespin background, and interestingly enough, the photo is completely different. His weapon is about shoulder height instead of hip height, and there's no gap between his arm and his torso. The Luke Bespin figure came on the Palatoy Tri-Logo with either the ginger brown hair or the blonde hair. So I thought now we would take a look at some of the standard as well as wacky Luke Bespins that are loose graded in my collection. I'm going to start with the 2 wacky ones first. The first one is what I call a Frankenstein hybrid Lily Letty. You guys have seen all of these on my channel before, but this one is really a really bizarre concoction. As the made in Mexico Lily Letty factory was going out of business in the mid-1980s, there were a lot of overstock parts. And towards the end of the factory closing, they would just assemble these figures with whatever parts that they had. And most of them were dumped on the black market down in Mexico. Sometimes they weren't assembled at all, and so they're considered overstock. This one is considered a hybrid, and it has a Luke Bespin head, the Regresso head with the dark brown hair, on a Lando skiff guard body. So it's a real bizarre one. Most of these Frankenstein figures are in very rough condition because they're very hastily assembled and then thrown in boxes. So this one's really, really beat up. But you can even see some. It looks like Luke got beat up. He's got a black eye there. And so this is a hybrid, and this one came back with a 40. So it's a really high grade hybrid overstock Lando skiff guard body Luke Bespin head. So there are 2 different Luke Bespin. I'm sure there are others, but there are mainly 2 different Luke Bespin figures. And so this one is the Regresso head with the brown hair. And I've got a complete example that I'll show you that in a second. There is also what's called the Returno Variant. That one is much more rare and much more expensive. And I'll include down here a photo from Collector Archive Services website of an example of that. He has the blonde hair, and instead of coming with the Bespin style blaster, he comes with the standard DL44 style blaster that was also assembled early and during the early life cycle for the for the Returno card backs, as well as on the Imperio card backs that are very rare. So anyway, this is the hybrid overstock. The other overstock that I have is the Invisible Man. This one is just the limbs. These are overstock Lily Letty Luke Bespin limbs. I just had Collector Archive Services assemble them like they usually do with their non-sonic welding technology. It's a cool case style, and it's so bizarre looking. I love having this one. The limbs got an 80 overstock arms and legs, Lily Letty. So it's very difficult to find. It's easy to find the overstock heads, unpainted heads, but the torsos are impossible to find. Me and a couple of other friends are all looking for overstock torsos. I'd love to have this thing fully complete as an overstock figure, but as of right now, this is all I got. You might want to check with Tony over at Yorkie Bespin. He might have a complete overstock, but I don't have that. I just have the limbs. So that's the other Letty. Now, the complete Letty that I have is this one. This is UKG graded 85. This is a Luke Skywalker Bespin Lily Letty with the version 1 trigger blaster. These are the earlier molds from the Lily Letty the Bespin early mold of that weapon. And like I said, there's a Returno variant that is much more rare, much more expensive, that has the blonde hair, and he comes with a Bespin style blaster. But this is a beautiful item. It's an 85 grade, 90 for the paint. So just absolutely amazing figure. And what I think is interesting is that my overstock limbs have a different paint color. The overstock color of the boots is much darker, much more in keeping with like the PBP chocolate brown boots. But this finished factory example has the lighter kind of orangey tone to the boots. So those are the 3 Lettys that I have. Here is, I think this one is this is the blank raised bar. This is a Meccano French made Luke Bespin. He has the kind of the brown hair, and his boot color is again slightly different than the Letty. It's much more orange in tone. You can kind of see this one's the Letty has kind of a more brown tones, whereas the French Meccano blank raised bar has much more orange than the brown kind of boots. But the hair color is very similar. Here is the blank raised bar on the back of the leg there. And let's see if I can get it to focus a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, so it's got the blank raised bar right there on the leg. And so these are considered, to my knowledge, these are considered French Meccano examples. So, and then let's see what else we got. We have the AFA Hong Kong Luke with the blonde hair. I do not have the Hong Kong country of origin with the brown hair. So that's one I'm still looking for eventually. But this one is an 85 grade blonde hair Hong Kong. So that is another example of that. Again, his boot colors are just slightly different. You can kind of compare. It's pretty close, but it's still not quite as reddish orange as the French Meccano. But really nice to see those together. And then the next one I have, this is what's called the Made In date stamp. So this is a PBP Scar COO. And let's see if we can get it to focus better so you can take a look at that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it to focus or not. I'm sorry, guys. I tried to get it to focus, but it's just not working. My camera is terrible. But basically it says Made In, and then the Hong Kong part is scarred out. So this is a PBP figure. Very dark brown boots. You can kind of see that there. There we go. And this one came back with an 80. But this is a PBP figure. And I got this one in the groups. The other interesting thing about this figure is that the hand colors are just slightly different. The left hand is very pale. Well, the right hand is very pale. His right hand is very pale. And then his left hand is kind of a little bit more pinkish. And so that's pretty common with PBP figures, is that the paint applications are just kind of weird and wonky. But another really cool example. And then finally, I want to show you this one. This is an orange hair Luke. Now, there is a ginger hair Luke that's different between the brown and it's different from the orange. It's got kind of a reddish brown hair color that's ginger in color. Again, check with the two experts for more details, but this is the true orange hair. It's a light orange hair color. I got a great deal on this one. It was listed on eBay as a brown hair, and so I paid hardly anything for it. Complete, I think I paid $45 for it, which is very difficult to do with the orange hair Luke. And this one came back with an 85. Luke, orange hair, Hong Kong, 2-line LFL. And so you can kind of see the color of these boots versus the other Hong Kong. Much different color to the boots. So, slightly different face sculpts as well, from what I can tell. So, anyway, you know, there's sculpting differences. There's differences with the pocket on the arm. You can have the small pocket. Both of these, I believe, are the small pocket. Yeah, it looks like they're about the same. So these are really just all my different variations. But obviously, there's plenty more out there. I believe there's a early Spanish figure, a puck, with a Hong Kong date stamp. There is the Letty Returno variant. I've seen some other kind of weird hybrid figures out there. The China raised bar is another one that you often see, and but these are all my examples, and they're very cool, and I enjoy having them. And I just thought you guys would like to take a look at all the Lukes in my collection now that I've finally got a mint on card example. I think my goal for next year is to hopefully get a Return of the Jedi card back at some point. I've bet on a couple and lost out, but one of these days I'll find a pretty Return of the Jedi card back to add to these. And I hope you enjoyed this look, not only at my Lukes, but just some of the other general information that's out there. It's by no means complete, and any errors in this video are completely mine. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.